One. There we go.
So yeah, it's a bit long, but it's nice seeing Ash with new friends. It's some new characters and some old faces return. And it's just really cool to see old Pokemon in HD Technicolor on the big screen. So yeah, I mean you could watch on DVD and you probably get a similar effect, but yeah, it was interesting. You know, had some good bits in it, and I think it will like I don't remember all the Pokemon movies. I've not seen that many of them, but it will like stand out in my memory as like a bit different. So that's probably quite good.
Yeah, I saw some clips from it, and the animation, particularly on the sky and the water scenes, looked particularly nice.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it looks a lot. I mean, when you think of how the original cartoon looked or anime, it looks a lot better than that.
Yeah, it's a bit. So, is this they're trying to put a whole series, the first series of Pokemon,
Well,
into one
the thing
film?
is, I don't know because I mean, it felt a bit like it could reboot everything, but I would be surprised if they rebooted everything off the back of a film because obviously not everyone's going to watch a film, whereas the TV shows like are a lot more popular.
Hmm.
But yeah, we'll see.
It is strange. Maybe this is a Pokemon film for a new generation rather than the older.
Well, in the audience was basically all blokes in their 20s, so I don't know if it is for a new audience.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's what Nintendo or whoever produces it were thinking.
Yeah, it
Because
probably was.
it doesn't seem to make sense to like reboot it, but then change the main storyline. Well, not the storyline, but change the main character in it. Because Brock and Misty, firm favorites,
Mm.
household names. Glad it's good though. So, how long is the film?
Probably between an hour and a half and two.
So, would you say people should go see this or should go see Bad Mums Christmas? What would you say
I've not
people
seen
should do?
Bad Moms Christmas, so I couldn't
Yeah,
possibly comment.
I'm sure that's a great film. Actually,
Yeah, me too.
I watched the first Bad Mums last night.
Do you like it?
Not really. It wasn't very funny. Had me the
Right.
coolness in the day. So that was good. That's the best bit. Right. So, Chris, how do you feel about Facebook having your money and your bank details? Is that something you want? Is that something you'd like? Is that something you need in your life?
It's not something I'm mad keen for. No,
So, do you use Apple Pay at all?
I do use Apple Pay. Yeah, fairly often.
So that's quite controversial then, because you pretty much are going back on what you just said. Um, you're
Although
giving
I like
Apple your
Facebook.
details. No,
Yeah.
no. I'm talking about your phone. I know we'll get onto Facebook in a minute. So I think this is similar in a way. You're giving Apple your details. So what's wrong with Facebook having it? Same sort of thing.
Because I trust Apple. I don't trust Facebook.
Why do you trust Apple and not Facebook? Is it because Facebook don't dodge tax as
Primarily,
much? Controversial.
primarily, primarily, very controversial. They both do it though.
Yeah.
Primarily because Facebook is something that is free, so I'm
Hmm.
less inclined to believe that they're good, good guys.
Hmm. I guess so.
Anyway, why?
Apple
What are they doing?
Apple Pay has not been something I've done, but I've heard it's good. Anyway, so Facebook are launching a new service in the UK. This has been available in the US for 2 years, actually. It came live back in 2015, I believe. So the UK is going to be the first country outside the US to get the peer to peer payments through the Facebook Messenger app. So now you can send a request and receive money in a chat on Facebook Messenger. So Facebook Messenger is a massive part of the Facebook experience. I mean, back in the day, the Facebook chatting on Facebook was just a part of Facebook, but now really it's taking its own entity. Obviously, the app is separate from Facebook. I remember before, years ago, or maybe not that long ago, the chat feature was built into the Facebook app, but now it's a separate thing. A lot of people like it. It's quite a big competitor to WhatsApp and other apps like that. But I wasn't aware that this was a service available in the US. It took me a bit by surprise when I saw this. So it's very easy actually to send and receive money. So you can just there's a button, there'll be an icon on your screen when you're chatting to someone on the Facebook Messenger, and then you'll be able to send money to people. And then once you've done that, you tap the card option and you add your debit card details and set up a payment account. So you have to give Facebook Messenger your debit card or credit card details, and then they get saved to your Facebook profile, your Messenger account. So once you've done it once, they won't ask you for it again. So it makes it really, really easy to send and receive money. I don't know. It just seems a bit weird to me. This, I mean, Facebook have come out and said that it's all decrypted, end-to-end encryption. So they're not going to have any of your details. Similar to what Apple Pay does, I believe. I think they have the same encryption with that. So technically, they don't actually get any of your details. But it seems a bit strange. I didn't think or didn't realize there was a need for this. Sorry, go on. What? Sorry, say again.
Do Facebook the money?
I think you said, could it cut out there, that do Facebook get any of the money? Hello, Chris.
Yeah.
What did you say? Say again. Oh, Chris, you there? Talk to me, man.
That's big money.
one last time. We'll get it this time. No, we won't. Say it again.
Do Facebook take a cut?
No, they don't, Chris.
Money.
They do not make a cut, but it's a handy feature, I guess. If well, maybe this would be more handy for the younger generation. I don't know. Thanks for the message, Chris. Really handy. I don't know, because I guess maybe it's more for the younger people, maybe the older teens or 16, 17-year-olds who want to send money. Like, hey, are we going to the cinema? I'll give you the money now. Buy me my ticket or stuff like that. But it's going to be rolling out in the UK over the next coming weeks. And it's interesting that Facebook have chosen the UK as the first place outside of America to embrace this. But I'm interested to see how it works. I'm interested to see whether it becomes a popular way of paying. I know there are a few chats I have on Facebook where I have had to owe people money, or they've had to pay me for things, and then you have to give your bank details or your whatever details people need to transfer your money. So I guess the fact that they're removing that whole element and just building it into the app is interesting. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure as we get towards the rollout of this and it's actually available to people in the UK, we'll get more opinions on this. I mean, there is a picture here on this article from The Independent showing what the icon will look like. It does look very easy to do and very straightforward. But yeah, we wait and see. It's interesting. I didn't think this was something that was needed, but yeah. I mean, Chris uses Apple Pay, so I remember when Apple Pay was first announced, a lot of people were a bit skeptical, but now a lot of people do use it. So, yeah, maybe this will be embraced as well. We wait and see. Chris, you with me?
Yeah, buddy.
Cool. Should we do one final bit of iOS news and then move on?
Yeah.
So iOS 11 came out, I think it must have been a couple of months ago now, or maybe just a month. It's been a while since iOS 11 came out. And I saw this interesting article from TheVerge.com. And they've said that only 52% of iPhone users have downloaded iOS 11, which I think is quite a low amount. But then reading this article, it turns out it's not as low as I initially thought. Last year, iOS 10 was said to have reached 60% of devices. 60%, that seems crazy. I would have thought that most people, especially Apple fans, would want the latest software and would download it straight away. 52% just seems really, really low to me. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for this potentially. I know there was a lot of issues with the initial download. There was a lot of bugs, a lot of crashes, and they obviously had to release a lot of updates to the new iOS software. So that's probably not helped. A lot of people have said that and I do agree that the update is more iPad focused than iPhone focused, which is probably another reason why a lot of iPhone users haven't downloaded it yet. But I just thought that was really interesting. I mean, I'm the sort of person, as soon as there's an update, I have to get it straight away. I can't deal with the little notification icon over the settings tab. I have to get rid of that straight away, so I just download it instantly. But this article also mentions, like, you think like 52% is low, but the release of Android O on obviously Samsung and devices using Android, apparently roughly 0.2% of devices are running that as of October the 2nd. So an update for Android, only 0.2% of devices have downloaded it.
Android's trickier though, because with an iOS update, it gets cleared by, I think this is right anyway, it gets cleared by Apple, and then every iPhone gets access. Whereas with an Android update, your carrier has to approve it first.
Right.
But it is interesting. I mean, I didn't realize how many people didn't upload their update their phone straight away. Like, it seems like the logical thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, there's
a lot of people just don't do it.
There's a little graph here. 52% of users are on iOS 11, 38% are on iOS 10, and 10% are on earlier editions of that. So below iOS 10, which seems crazy. Are you on iOS? I think you're on iOS 11.
Yeah, I mean, I upgraded straight away, but I can understand why people wait because the battery usage is like ridiculous on this one.
Yeah.
And I do like a little part of me does kind of wish I'd held back a bit. But the thing is, if you've got the the watch and stuff, you have to update to iOS 11 to get the latest watch OS. So it's a bit fiddly.
Oh, right. So that's something that you would want. So it made sense for you to download it straight away.
Definitely. Shall we move on, Colin? Because I'm aware we've not actually talked about any of the actual gaming things.
That would help for a gaming podcast, wouldn't it? So give me some gaming news, Chris.
Let's talk about Super Mario Odyssey because Nintendo last week tweeted that Super Mario Odyssey is now the fastest selling game in Super Mario history, which is kind of exciting. And I finished the main story of Super Mario Odyssey last night. So last week I was about halfway through, I think, and then I finished the main story last night. Obviously, there's a lot of post game, a lot of extra stuff, unlocks and things. It's such a good game, man. I mean, I know I'm always saying this about Switch stuff, but it's impeccable. It's so charming, so fluent, and the most amazing thing is that for a Mario game, it keeps you surprised and it keeps you do things that are like, oh my god, that's so cool, and it's like never expected to have that experience on a Mario game. I always kind of thought you knew what you'd get going in, but the way it kind of turns the traditional story on its head is really interesting. So yeah, I really enjoyed Super Mario Odyssey, and obviously I'm going to play a lot of it still to get all the kind of post game stuff.
What? So you completed it already?
So well, I've completed the story, but like I've got maybe an eighth of the total stars, or maybe not less than it, maybe a quarter, I think, because I think it's about 850 to get, and I've got just over 200. Whoa. So I've got a lot left to do, and there's a lot of kind of post-game stuff where you have to do things on like hard mode, and I think there's probably a boss rush and things like that to come. So yeah, but Nintendo tweeted that it's the fastest selling Super Mario game of all time, which is very interesting. Hopefully there'll be DLC. We can wait and see. I mean, I imagine there will. You kind of hope there will.
Yeah, there will. I'm surprised you weren't wearing your Mario hat whilst you were talking about that game.
Wow, it does possess me. Other Switch news, Colin.
Yes.
Last night there was a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Nintendo Direct. We'll embed a link so you can watch it on heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com. But a Reddit user who goes by the name of Unicoma has put together a list of everything that was mentioned. So they announced that there'll be dual audio, which means that you can play the game in English or in Japanese with English subtitles, or Japanese with whatever subtitles, I suppose. They've also shown that there's going to be an expansion pass for DLC, and DLC will include support items for your journey coming in December, a new quest in January, a new sword in spring, a new challenge battle mode in summer next year, and a whole new story and adventure in autumn next year. Breath of the Wild will also get a side quest available November 9th, so tomorrow, which will reward you with a costume of the main character in the Xenoblade game. They also showed a look at the battle system, the information. There was a lot of information in there, but it's an interesting watch if you can. It's about 15-16 minutes long, and it looks really like the graphics of the game look really good. And one thing I would say as well is that I hope that even if you're not going to use it, I would like everyone listening to this podcast to download the free DLC, which will give you the option to play the game with Japanese, because that shows Nintendo that people care about this stuff. So yeah, you can watch that track. You can watch the whole thing. I've not watched all of it yet on the Heroes of Handheld website, heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com. Xenoblade Chronicles comes out very soon. I can't remember if it's November or December this year. Only two other things to Switch. Snipper Clips, which is a very popular puzzle game where you play as two little bits of paper and you have to clip each other and solve puzzles. The Snipper Clips Plus comes out very soon. It comes out on the same day as Doom or Wolfenstein. Doom it must come out as. And there is now going to be pro controller support for the Snipper Clips release, which is good because you used to only be able to play with the Joy-Cons, and that was a bit annoying. So Nintendo have confirmed that in an interview with IGN, it's going to be added in a free update. And finally, in your Switch news this week, speaking of updates, there is a Stardew Valley update which significantly improves the save times, a bunch of other things. The update will roll out very soon, and you can see more on Ty's Twitter. We'll embed a link so you can have a little look at a video of them showing you how much better the new save system is. It's so much quicker, because the thing with Stardew, Colin, is you finish the day of farming and animal husbandry and fishing, and then you go and you sleep and you have a save, and it lasts about 1.5 minutes. So this is nice. I'm looking forward to this. Make it a bit smoother, you know.
I see. Did you say husbandry?
Animal husbandry, yeah, like looking after animals.
Oh, I thought you said husbandry, as if like you were marrying one of these animals.
You can get married. I've not done that yet, though.
Okay. So you can marry a horse?
No, not a horse, a person.
Oh.
Weirdo. Sick shit.
Oh, can't you marry a horse? Isn't that an option?
No, I don't think you can.
I think that'd be quite
rightfully
good.
So, I say.
I imagine a horse would be a good lover.
Oh, no, I think a horse would be a terrible lover. They're huge.
In both senses.
No, just in terms of their dicks. They've got massive dicks.
They do, actually. Oh, me and horses share a lot in common. Not in common.
It does say something that my first thought was sleeping with a male horse. That one yourselves. But it's because you said husband. That's why.
Anyway, Chris, are you a fan of Utaware Ronamomo?
Yeah, I bloody love Utaware Ronamomo.
Well, that means you are a big fan of the 2006 release, which came out on PlayStation 2. I know you're all up on that stuff because you had a PS2, didn't you? You're a big fan of that console back in the day.
Yeah, I loved it. I definitely didn't have one.
With the iToy and whatever it had. What else did it have? Tomb Raider. What else is?
What is Utaware?
It is a Japanese adult tactical role-playing visual novel. It was developed by a company called Leaf, and as you'd expect, there's a lot of barely dressed women in this game. But good news, if you were a big fan of that game back in the day, if it was a game you grew up with, and if you did, your parents were questionable, they are remaking it for PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4. It's going to be a full remake of the first. It was the first entry in the series. There's been quite a few games after that. And this is coming from the original developer, Leaf. So looking at here, apparently the original came out on PlayStation 2 in 2006, but the initial version came out on PC in 2002. So a whole 4 years before. That's a long, big gap there. So the new version is titled Utarumono Chiriyuku Mono Eno Koryuta. It's a great name. Rolls right off the tongue. Really easy to remember. It's coming out on April the 26th, 2018, in Japan only at the moment, unfortunately. The new take on the visual novel game features battles on full 3D fields, a high-resolution version of the opening movie, enhancements and high-definition upgrades for all scenes, and a special extended mode featuring enhanced music. Woo! Enhanced J-pop. That's what we all want. It's going to be available in a standard edition, which will cost you roughly about $86. So, for a standard edition, that's a lot. $86 is probably about 70 quid, I guess, or maybe a bit more. Premium edition with an anime Blu-ray soundtrack. Oh, no, sorry. The $86 one is the premium edition. My apologies. They haven't released the price of the standard edition. The premium one will come with an anime Blu-ray soundtrack. An anime Blu-ray soundtrack and a visual book, and that's going to cost you about $86. There's also going to be a more expensive one for $105, which is going to have it's going to be the trilogy box, and also a $261 one, which is called the Aqua Plus Limited Box. So many different versions of that game. Incredible. So if you're a big fan of this one, you'll want to check this out. It's coming out next April, and I don't know, maybe they'll bring it out to the West. Probably not now. It seems like a lot of these games don't come out to the Vita over here anymore because support is dead. It's dead. It's all over, people. It's the end. I told you I was thinking about trading in my Vita, didn't I?
Yeah, you did actually.
And then we can just call ourselves Heroes of Switch. Be fun.
And then are you gonna buy a Switch? Is that the plan?
I want to buy a Switch. I know we probably won't get many discounts, but I am really holding out for something on Black Friday. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get a big discount on Black Friday, mate.
Why wouldn't I, Chris? Why do you have such?
Because it's the hot ticket item. It's the hot toy. Well, going to give you money off.
Potentially, what they will do is obviously the console will probably stay the normal retail price, but they'll probably throw in games for about £10 off maybe for each one. They could do that. Maybe. I don't know. Like maybe a Switch with 2 games, and I don't know. They throw in a free hat, or they throw in a free Minecraft cuddly toy. That's what we all want. The Minecraft plushes. Anyway, I've got another game I want to talk to you about. This is called, I don't know if it's called VA or VA. I'm going to say VA. VA-11 Hala. It's coming to PlayStation Vita next week. And this actually looks really cool. It's a cyberpunk bartending adventure.
So it's like Valhalla.
Valhalla, yes. Wait, hold on. What's Valhalla?
Valhalla is the Norse god's heaven, I think. Because you know in that song they're like, "Oh, Valhalla." Yeah, it's like Norse god heaven. It's like when they're drinking.
You sounded a bit like Paul O'Grady then.
Valhalla.
Maybe that would probably make sense. That shows you're a lot smarter than me. So basically, the whole game is based around the people you meet whilst you are bartending in this bar. Apparently, this bar, which is maybe let's just call it Valhalla. Might as well just call it that. It's where people go who are depressed or downtrodden. They go there to drown their sorrows. Through your conversations with various patrons and mastery over drink mixing, you discover more about the dystopian world outside and the problems and struggles that its citizens face. So it's really cool, actually. You know that you're plopped into this game. You don't know anything about the outside world or anything like that. You're not told anything, and you learn everything through your character interaction. So it's actually a really cool idea here. It's only going to be £14.99, which is quite a good price, I think. So 15 quid, and also the same price in America, actually, $14.99, which is cool. Just seems a bit different. I don't know. It reminds me a little bit of that game Papers, Please, which still hasn't come out on Vita. I'm still hoping that Papers, Please will come out on Vita at some point in the near future because I really want to play it. But yeah, it's called VA-11 Hala, probably Valhalla is probably an easy way to say it. It's coming out to Vita next week, and it sounds a lot of fun. So if you've still got a Vita, why not check it out if you're looking for something new to play? And last bit of Vita news I just want to quickly cover is Steins Gate Elite is launching on March the 15th in Japan. So it's coming to PlayStation Vita on March the 15th, 2018, also PS4 and Switch as well. So Switch is getting this. This has been announced by publisher 5PB. B for Bravo. The game's going to cost 7,800 yen, which is probably about 78p, because I think that's the latest conversion odds, something like that. The game is a full animation adventure adaptation of the popular visual novel, which first launched on the 360 in October 2009. It features every second of the 24-episode television anime, as well as a number of newly animated endings that were not depicted in the TV anime. So I'm assuming you get the whole TV show and the game as well.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, it's going to be probably a massive file download. That's pretty cool. So yeah, coming out to Vita in March, only in Japan at the moment. I know the original Steins Gate did come out in the West, and it was very, very popular. So I'm sure this one will hopefully make the transition as well, which is really cool. Right, that's all my Vita news. I am out of news for you.
Cool. Well, Colin, I've only got a little bit of 3DS news for you. Miiverse is officially dead, and you can see a giant mosaic that the Nintendo team made, which is really cool. You can zoom in and see all people's individual drawings. And I'm going to swear here, but if you go on the subreddit Miiverse in Action, it tells you the final posts that were posted on the different Miiverse. On one of the Zelda ones, the last ever post on Miiverse just said, "Goodbye, you fuckers." Which is classic. But yeah, Miiverse is now dead. Have a look at the mosaic. It is really.
So just to be clear, this was the service where people were putting pictures of penises everywhere. Is this the one? Is that the one?
Miiverse is the one where everyone submits their mini drawings and you can ask for tips, and it was out on 3DS and Wii, but not on Switch.
And there's lots of penises.
Lots of penises, yeah. You liked the page that was like shitty Miiverse or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that was fun.
Happening. Well, Colin, my internet's going a bit funny, by the way. So if you can't hear me, tell me.
I can hear you fine, loud and clear.
Goodo. So there is a new Pokemon up. Supposedly, rumors are circulating. There's going to be more Pokemon news coming out on Friday for Ultra and Ultra Moon, which come out later on this month. And it's now available to preload if you own a Nintendo 3DS. You can do that. So do have a little look over there on the eStore if you're in North America. Kirby Battle Royale, which is the free-to-play Kirby game. They ran a poll, which was, what is your favorite Kirby mimic abilities? Because you know Kirby's thing is that he steals all his abilities by like swallowing people, as it were. And Kirby's mirror ability has been voted the best copy ability for Kirby, and will be added to free of charge to Kirby Battle Royale in mid-December. There's more information on Nintendo's Japanese website, so you can have a look at that. It's an interesting. I've not played the game. It's interesting that they're giving it as much kind of promo as they had, because they've sort of left this game to die a little bit, sort of released it under a bit of a hush and then nothing. But anyway, do have a look at that. And finally, for 3DS, and whilst I'm doing this, Colin, why don't you get the group chat responses ready? There's a really interesting Capcom blog where they've been talking about Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, which is coming out to 3DS November 23rd in Europe and 21st in North America. It's a remake. And they've done this really interesting blog all about the new features and what's new to the game and how they've kind of wanted to remake it and how they wanted to recapture it for the, the better screen and 3DS and what they would have done differently. And they just released it on mobile as well. So they've learned a lot of lessons from that. So I'm going to embed the link on heroeshandheld.wordpress.com. It's a interesting little read. So do have a look. I mean, it's a bit of the style they've written it in is a bit quirky and annoying, but there is some interesting stuff in there. So have a look at that. We'll embed it on heroeshandheld.wordpress.com. And that is all the 3DS news from your old pal, Chris.
My old pal, Chris.
I do want to say we had a tweet last week I didn't get a chance to read as well from a chap called Coms and John Jandamit, who I asked, how's everyone enjoying Super Mario Odyssey? He's saying, I find it very fun to play, and his two daughters are also hooked. So it's interesting that it's settling well in the child's market as well.
That's good. So the whole family can enjoy it. Awesome. Right, so it's time for group chat. Dun dun dun. Diddle 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 down. I just imagine there being the opening theme song from, well, not the opening theme song, but the sounds they used to play in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You know, when like they win like 32,000 or something, and everyone would clap, like, hey! And then the lights would go up, and they'd be like, diddle 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 dun. They get all serious again. That's what I imagine. So group chat this week, or last week's question, or actually 2 weeks ago's question. Did you ask this last week, or was it 2 weeks?
No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah. So what sport would you like Mario to turn/return to? So as you know, Mario is he's bloody great at so many different sports and so many different events. But if you could choose one sport for him to return to for a future adventure or game, what would it be? We had some responses on Twitter, and thank you very much for sending them in. You can also send your own responses in for future editions of Group Chat by tweeting at Handheld Podcast. That's Handheld Podcast, all one word, or you can email us, heroesofhandheld@gmail.com, or just send it to us. There are so many places. There's so many ways you can get this to us. Please do it. So a couple of responses here. We had a response from at Ludex we can say the full names, can't we? We're not covering names anymore. Cool. At Ludex_Phil, who said, only if he's doing the dressage on Yoshi.
Do you know, so dressage is horse dancing?
Yeah, I'm assuming like you ride Yoshi then.
Yeah, so he's saying horse riding would be good if it was Yoshi. I'm keen for that.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be the same as horse galloping, because doesn't Yoshi just like sort of hop?
Well, he kind of sprints, really. He just sort of sprints into the next hole. He's a bit of a lemming.
Yeah, you can't stop him. So that's a good suggestion, like that. And the other tweet we had is from at Shenzi Pop. Great name. They've said, I don't know if it's he or she, I'm going to say they said, all of them. I need a Switch version. I need a Switch version of Mario plus Sonic at the Olympics. That trampoline one. Now, I agree with this. I love the Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics. I think it's maybe 2007 or 8, I think it was.
2008, and then there was the 2010 Winter Olympics one.
That might be the one I had, the 2010 one.
They were both great. The hammer throw game with Knuckles was exquisite.
Do you think, like, the person who envisioned Sonic and came up with the idea, do you think, how would they feel now, knowing that their beloved characters are doing, like, figure skating and the hammer throw?
I think they'd be pretty happy that they're working with Mario, to be fair.
It is pretty weird. The biggest what the hell moment was when on the Winter Olympics game for Mario and Sonic, you could do the figure skating, and they're in a line. You use 4 characters, and there's nothing quite like seeing Bowser, Princess Peach, Mario, and Sonic all dancing on ice to calming music. That was quite something, I must say. So, thank you for your response, everyone. But now let's go to the opinions that really matter. Your hosts, Colin and Chris's. Chris, what is your answer to this question?
So, the thing is, I don't care about any of this shit. I want another Mario Strikers Charge game, because Strikers Charge was a football game for the Wii. It was a sequel to Mario Strikers for the GameCube, and it was the most fun football game I've ever played. It was so good. You played as basically the mainline Mario characters were all captains, and then you picked your sub team, which consisted of people like Boo, Koopa Trooper, Birdo, Toad, that sort of vibe. And it was just so fun, Colin. It was like a kind of really intense football game. It was like really manic. And I like Mario sports games a lot, but that was the one for me that was like, yeah, give me more of this. I'd love more of that. And I know some people love golf, some people love tennis, but for me, Mario Strikers Charge. Give me Mario Strikers on the Switch. That'd be so good.
That's a good shout, because that was actually one of my thoughts when I first thought of this game. Like, just that whole idea of them playing football is just incredible, because it's amazing. Because each of them, obviously, they're all different builds and different skills, I guess. So each person would have their own quality. I guess one player would be really fast, one would have a good kick.
Exactly, yeah. And you can play as Bowser and like hope to hammer the ball in, or you can play as Diddy Kong and wazz around with it.
Surely Bowser would have to go in goal. That big old
the goalie was the crocodile King K. Rool.
What? King?
And there was a lot of it got really, really jippy, because you could there were a lot of abilities where you could make other people's players have to leave the pitch,
right?
And there was just manic, the stuff you could do. Everyone had like special skills and stuff. It was really good.
Nice. Oh yeah, I'm looking at pictures of King K. Rool, and I have to say he does look like a good keeper. He's got big old hands and a big belly and a big cape.
What's your one?
Now, football was the first thing I thought of, but I was just thinking of. I decided to think of sports I don't think Mario has played before. I mean, I might be wrong. Mario's played many sports. He's a man of many talents. That little ex-plumber. He's not a plumber anymore. But the sport that I think would be pretty cool, and I guess in a way this is similar to football. Maybe I thought a basketball game would be quite cool. There
was a basketball game on the DS. It was developed by Square Enix, and it was really good.
Mario Basketball. I didn't see anything. See if I can find it now.
It was called Mario
3-on-3. Yeah, see. Honestly, he's done everything. He's done every sport. Let's have a look at this. Oh, it looks cool. Yeah, it looks exactly as I imagined. It's like a colourful basketball court. I don't like how Mario and Luigi are on separate teams in this picture, though. Surely they should be on the same team. Let me have a look. Who else was in this? Bowser's in this. Princess Peach. I don't know. Oh, Waluigi. He would be really good. He's really tall. He's got long legs. He'd be good.
Well, what I really liked about it was that you had a lot of Square Enix characters in it, so you could play as the Moogs and as the sorcerers and stuff, Black Mage and all that. Yeah, it was a good little game, that one. I really liked it.
We need to return to it. Yeah, it needs to return to that, because that looks a lot of fun. The pictures look great. It just looks like your standard, colourful, fun Mario game. There's a picture here of, for some reason, Luigi sitting in the basket. I don't really know what's happened there. Oh, Luigi. Silly man. Cool. So that was my suggestion. Good suggestions there. I think Mario should release another sports game. And then it should be football and basketball. And cricket. Do cricket as well.
Oh, yeah, cricket would be good. What's next week's group chat, Colin? What do you want to do?
Let's have a look at our long list. Which one haven't we done yet? Oh. We're not going to do the one that's about halfway down. That's brutal, that one. You're looking at the list.
Well, the one what killed the Vita.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh. That's a bit dark, isn't it? I think one about a memory of a game that we played before. So how about favorite Game Boy memory?
Favorite Game Boy memory?
Yeah, that sounds like a
good
one.
All right, tweet us yours at Handheld Podcast. Email us heroesfanheld@gmail.com. Go to the Facebook page, you can write on there as well, or go to heroesfanheld.wordpress.com, where you can get in touch using the contact box there. We want to know what your favorite. Are we talking Game Boy or Game Boy Color? Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we can, anything that had Game Boy in the name, we can allow. Okay, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance SP, Game Boy Advance, any of the Game Boys, any of them, any memories you have. Because I think, what was the last Game Boy console that came out? Game
After
Boy Advance, Game
SP.
Boy SP, and Game Boy Micro. That was the last
Yeah,
generation.
must have been the last one because it was the DS, wasn't it? That was the
Yeah.
original. Yeah, so love to know your thoughts on that. I have so many great memories playing the Game Boy when I was younger. When I was playing it in my car, coming back from a long trip, and you're sitting in the back playing your Game Boy, but you could only play it when the car went under a street light because
Yeah,
there was
when
no
it was light
backlight on it.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Good times. So yeah, let us know. Many ways to get in contact. And I think Chris has already done them, so I'm not going to say them again. Just search Heroes of Handheld on Google and you'll find all our details. Go to our website, heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com. We're all over that shit. All over that shit. Right, so we are out of here. We are leaving. We'll be back same time, same place next Wednesday, my dudes. So if you want to get in contact with us, email, tweet us. We're active all week on social media. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts on anything handheld gaming or even this week's group chat. Anything you want to talk about, let us know. Chris, what are your final words? What words of wisdom can you leave the good people with on this cold Wednesday evening in the heart of November?
Don't eat yellow snow.
Unless it's come out of a Mr. Frosty. Did you ever have a Mr. Frosty?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I do. Lemon flavor.
I used to always put Ribena in. I was a bit of a fiend for
You
Ribena.
put Ribena in your ice cream.
Yeah, no, it wasn't ice cream. It was like slush,
Oh no,
wasn't
it's like
it?
a slush maker, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. You just you put the ice down and you used his head to crush it, and then you had a little spinny thing.
Mm.
Oh, good times. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Enjoy The Apprentice. Goodbye.